What's up guys, it's me Jeremy, and before I start I want to say that I'm first on vacation in Canada visiting some family, so I don't have my full setup with me for videos, so for the next 2 weeks I'll have to upload in 720p instead of the usual 1080p. Anyways, today I want to talk about item builds and some basic rules that you can apply to any build in any game, and are crucial to follow and have a solid item build. Let's get started. One thing I've noticed that all highly skilled players do with their item builds is that they never ever build the exact same way in every single game. And this is the key concept for item builds. People argue over correct item builds all the time, but the one sure way to know that your build is absolutely terrible is if you are building the same way every single game. There is not a single champion in the game where you should build the same way every single game, because no build works for every single situation. Every build you make must be reactionary and reflective of the enemy team. You should build based on what the enemy team has, not some random guide that you're following. If you are following a guide, you have to follow it loosely, as pretty much all champion guides are very general. Also, a lot of people underestimate the value of a solid item build. You could have all the gold in the world, but if you don't have a good item build, you're going to be useless. One thing I see people do a lot is build fairly squishy on champions that are bruisers. Common offenders would be champions like Lee Sin and Riven. Instead of going that Bloodthirster Last Whisper build every game, try building more defensive. Tanky items, with the exceptions of AD carries of course, make you much more useful in teamfights, because you can simply just last for way longer. There reaches a point in the game where you no longer need any more damage. This is usually after one pure damage item such as a Rabadon's Deathcap or Last Whisper, in combination with 1 or 2 damage tanky items such as Frozen Mallet or Zonia's Hourglass. In addition, it's important to understand counter building. As a general rule, defense counters offense, while penetration counters defense, as well as other key things such as Blade of the Rune King countering health, and Quicksilver Sash countering crowd control, etc. This points out a key fact that random offense doesn't really counter anything, but if you look at the items, every single defensive item does have an offensive counter that is very specific. For example, an Infinity Edge might be countered by like a Randuin's Omen or Sunfire Cape because of the massive amount of armor and health, while Blade of the Rune King counters those items because of its passive, or Deathfire Grasp as well because of its passive. Be aware of all the items that your champion has the potential to build and the situations they are necessary in. Also note that in the case of things such as the old Blade of the Rune King, where the item is ridiculously overpowered, the counter to that item is often simply just itself. The counter to the Blade of the Rune King back then was simply just to build another Blade of the Rune King, because it was so overpowered. It's like psychic Pokemon. The only champion that you can build 3 or more pure damage items is the AD carry. The reason for this is because of their positioning and the fact that many players on your team will peel for and protect your AD carry. If you are any champion that is building 3 or more pure damage items, and this can be okay, especially on high DPS AP carry such as Lux, but you must be ready to position similar to an AD carry. Otherwise you will be useless for your team because you get focused simply just way too fast and die instantly. If you build like this and don't have solid positioning, you will be useless. So, that's it for my video on item builds. I'd love it if you could support me with a like or some feedback in the comments, and if you have any questions, I would absolutely love to see you in the comments too. Please subscribe for more awesome content in the future if you enjoyed this video, and I would love it if you could follow me on Facebook or Twitter, of which I'll have links in the description. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.